Welcome back to Pisces TV with Dr. MB. Let's get started with your reading. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and break it open. I will tell you off the back, there's going to be a part 2. All right. We'll talk a little bit about where you could fall, right? And then there's a person in your environment. I don't really like them a lot. Very jealous individual. And I would strongly encourage you to keep your plans to yourself. Okay. Now, as we get started, we have the 3 of Wands where it talks about the established strength, and we have judgment. So what does that mean for you? With the bonus cards that I saw when judgment came up, it talks about finalized decisions that can't be changed. So some of these situations will not be undone. That's what makes them so important. Okay. Now with the 3 of Wands, some have already turned their back on a situation or turned away from a situation, and it could be an organization. It could be a gatekeeper. Okay. Now this person or this situation is still looking into something, whether it be your own thoughts or a person when it comes to any trouble that one could have. All right. It could be material trouble. It may also have to do with, like, I don't want to say you're thinking, but like if someone feels left out and then there's this resentment, right? And then running to another person, right? Trying to develop, like, I guess a fan base or a fan team against you. So just be mindful of that. Now, the 3 of Wands also speaks to things being transferred. Okay, like who came up with something, who did it. It also has Aries in it and represents the beginning of spring. So some of these things are relatively recent. Aries is ruled by Mars. You guys know that. Therefore, the card is one of tremendous strength, but also arrogance and pride. And I don't like this lady in this chair that's being arrogant and prideful, possibly even deceitful with this 10 of Swords. And I don't like that for her if it's actually the Hierophant, the gatekeeper, okay, the overseer or the observer. So just be mindful of that. If any of you have like business plans, accounts, personal situations, or just someone of influence that may monitor your finances, may monitor anything. It could be a project manager, a boss, a supervisor. It could be customer service on a social media app. I don't know. But it's an observer of some sort that could be an authority figure. Doesn't have to, but has something to do with this report and these negative vibes or whatever. Now, the Judgment card is a major arcana, and the Judgment does point to ideas of some sort. It represents the last judgment. The trumpet is blowing, okay? The dead rising from the tomb. So these could be past situations that are now being solidly closed, right? I see the 7 of Swords here, but I also saw the Sun card and I saw the 7 Pentacles. So it talks about past efforts, some seeds that may have been planted and a mystery involved in them. Like how that happened, right? And there's some awareness. For some of you guys, it could be a union of some sort. I may have 2 sevens. One person that's kind of like clever and does things their own way. You didn't even know they was doing it. And then another person that does things and kind of like sits there waiting for it to develop and grow. Another person gonna hide it, right? One person hides it or has some assurance and some confidence to just sit back and kind of watch. And then the other person they're watching is more so for, I don't want to say the fall, but it's just like waiting for something to happen and there's not a favorable feeling behind it, which is why the 5 of Pentacles is up there for the person that could be in a very destructive energy and in their feelings, you know, kind of being jealous or whatever. So just be mindful of that. Okay. Now, because the 7s come up with Judgment, I thought that was very interesting. And this also represents the 31st path. I don't know if this month goes to the 31st. I think it's just the 30th. But it could be symbolic to another month, or where 3 and falls may fall for you as far as like numerology, if you're into that kind of thing. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there. Right now in the focus, another major arcana, we have the Hierophant and the number 5. Okay, the Hierophant, like I said, is usually the gatekeeper in a situation or also points to an authority figure. Now, this is possibly where we need to focus. And for some of you, the where we need to focus, because I see the Three of Pentacles, which talks about material works and also established strength. Some of us may have to get outside of our pride for a situation. That's just the way it is. This is how it's going to be. And in your environment, there is abundance. There is more than enough. There's a solution, but we may have to reach out. And I don't know if everybody is going to want to do that because of who they are or because of the people in the environment. So just keep that in mind. But looking at the Hierophant, it does represent Taurus and Jupiter. It's a very masculine path. Okay, the uppermost path of the pillar of Mercury. And the Hierophant is an important link between the higher self and the spiritual self. It is primarily has a function to tie things together. The great above, which is below type deal. So if there has been something finalized, it's like in the heavens and on earth. But in the environment, as you can see, that's your abundance. So it's like, can't nobody take that from you, regardless of the situation that may be on your mind. Okay. But that Five of Pentacles also brings strength. Now, in the recent past, I see the Ace of Wands. It could be a bright idea or something that we thought of. It could have been a yes initially that may have turned into another path, right? It was like, I'm going to do this, but now I got to do that. So just be mindful of that. It also talks about anger for some, cords and connections, as well as magnetic attraction. I like that because they both got their own shit going on. She probably got, more attraction than him, but he has faithful and loyal servants, beloved. Usually insecure ones that just want to follow them and learn from them. And you got something better than that, but we'll talk about that later. So now the strength is the Mercury and Taurus. So the strength of the matter, this five has some connection to the focus. It could be the beliefs. And if I look at the beliefs, the Five of Pentacles could be asking to go outside of the beliefs. So there could be a person or a situation that's either asking you to or may require you to go outside of your traditional beliefs. All right. Hand holding a branch of a white rose tree from which roses are falling, leaving no buds behind. Five Pentacles, similar to the Ace, is Mercury and Taurus. Loss of money or position. Now, I did see something about rank. Okay. In part 2, we're going to talk about that because somebody got rank and don't know how to use it. And it's like somebody else coming into the situation. They're outranked, but I think they're bold and they're confident, as well as a little bit mischievous, and they could be keeping something from you, but you outrank them. We'll talk about that in a minute. All right. Kindness. Sometimes money regained after severe toil and labor. This is your toil and labor with that 10 of Swords right here with the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Pentacles, and the Sun card. So those of us that don't really succumb or fall to the trouble with the materials, it could be the materials that you're using for a project. The materials could be you, because you are the body, you are the laboratory. And it also could be very specific to the financial aspect of it. So don't get that twisted. The Five of Pentacles is dominated by the flashing colors of the earth suit. The white roses are shown to be breaking apart and falling as the life-giving energy which had sustained them stopped flowing. So something that we've been working toward, something we've been working on, there could be a pause in the flow. All right. I don't know if that leads to this destructive energy, or if that's the very same thing you coast through that brings the abundance in the environment. We will see. Now, near future, we have Sun and Gemini energy, 10 of Swords, where it talks about ruin right there, right up under that. See, I had to put some clarifiers before you even got here to see what was going on with that. The 10 of Swords, it serves to illustrate completion. Unfortunately, the 10 of Swords indicates the completion of disruption of energy that had begun in the last few cards. So look at the last few cards. Moving forward, establishing strength from something we possibly waited on that didn't work. There's a final judgment came. We got to accept that, because I do also see the 9 of Cups. There's some acceptance that has to come, and our focus has to be on what we truly believe. And if you truly believe in the abundance, then you got to hold fast to this Ace. Regardless, because it may not be all the pentacles you want just yet, but I'm looking at this hand holding this Ace, and then they have like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 branches, 10 little flames. 10s talk about completion. It's like the great work, but it's manifested into one situation. So everything that you could have been working on and for, be it your internal self, your personality, your habits, whatever, spiritual growth, physical growth, financial growth, the things that you've been working toward, there's a seed that was planted possibly in the past. And I'm looking at this hand now. It has roses, it has some pentacles on it, but not truly what we all expected. So there's a I don't want to say a gift and a curse, but come on, it's something on there. Some things did bud, okay? Some things did bud, and then you also have 3 pentacles down here. So you have 8 pentacles, but there's a little bit of separation between the two, and we'll break that down. But anyway, back to these 10 swords, right? The 7 of swords is here, so it does talk about like an energy of being clever, acute, and eloquent, depending on the dignity. Loving to overthrow the happiness of others. And when I see the Queen of Wands sitting next to this energy, that is a very dark energy. Someone who could be involved in like dark spirituality and bringing up shit from the past, possibly hating on your abundance or they want some. The 3 of Cups with this Queen right here could also talk about gossip. And for some of us, moving away from it because it's like it's going to have a hold on you that would take you out of your spiritual growth or whatnot. Okay. The 10 of Swords is shown with a flashing of colors that represents the element of air. 8 of the 10 weapons are uncrossed and indifferent, displaying the negative stance of the air in this card. The 2 central swords are crossed, but in war, not in peace. For the Rose of Venus is somewhere to be seen, or is nowhere to be seen. So a lot of your readings have had a lot of Venus energy. And what these cards are telling me, while I love to be on the bright side, Venus ain't helping with this Aries, Mars, Taurus energy, as well as Gemini. So this is, it's not giving shadow, but it's just giving some things that may be less, like I said, favorable, where it talks about disruption. This is disruption. So there's going to be a disruption of some sort, and it could bring about triggers, old cords and connections and insecurities, or way of communicating. And then, like I said, there is some gossip and possibly some communicating from a very destructive person that could be in this 10 of Swords energy. So just be mindful of that. Now, she is a court card. So if this isn't an approach to take to a situation, because I love her confidence. She don't back down. She don't give a fuck, and can't nobody stand in her way. She represents fertility as well. An amazing wife that caters to her man and somebody that can hold a business together also. So I love her. But in shadow energy, she is just the worst, some person that you would want in your environment, especially with abundance around, especially with others around, whispering in their ears, turning them against you, and really trying to ruin what you got. So there's an energy of you needing to move in silence. Now, this could be a collaborative act where you were working on something with someone, or this situation involves others. I'll say that. And either wish fulfillment will come of it for those that could pass, the test of times. But also, if not, if this isn't like a wish fulfillment type situation, it will be more so of contentment and acceptance. And that's something that maybe is a part of your journey and your path to master. Now, if we allow somebody to get us out of our body because she's going to try hard or he's going to try hard, then that's a reflection or a judgment that won't be undone on your behalf. And that's why I thought this was a very important reading to have, while covering like all the bases without trying to be sweet and cute, but not taking away from the victory that some of you guys will have by persevering and enduring beyond what could seem like total ruin or some sort of financial trouble. So it's like a few things going on here. And if I can effectively keep going back and forth, then we won't need a part 2, but I think we're still going to do a part 2 to get down really to the dirt. Okay, because there's some dirt in the environment for sure. Now, the Queen of Wands. Okay, here she is. Adaptability. For some of us, like I said, along your spiritual journey, on your quest, when it comes to the situation, there's a need for you to show that you are flexible and adaptable. She is the water of fire. Okay, like this Knight of Swords over here in our outcome or advice, this does points to someone who's tyrannical. Okay, still domineering, but could be revengeful. if ill dignified. So just keep that in mind, okay? They represent a force which evolves from the initial spark depicted by the king. And so far, you don't have a king, you have a knight, and you have the Hierophant. But here is the initial spark. This is a situation from the past, and your approach to take to it, or your hope, has something to do with something that was initial. See, this is initial and this is finalizing. So I don't know. The decision could be in the hands of your beliefs, and your beliefs meaning your thoughts, your confidence, how you go about it, how you attack the situation. Are you ready for it? Are you not ready for it? If you have any subconscious insecurities when it comes to finances, unfortunately, you could be manifesting from that energy. So kind of be careful with that if you can. Now, she rules the heavens from above, the last deacon of Pisces. Interesting. To the 12th degree of Aries, including part of the Andromeda. Okay, we have been talking about the Andromedans. So if this is any sort of starseed energy update, just inserting itself into you guys' reading. Sometimes the Ten of Swords could talk about a lot of information. All right, so this information could be coming in to help you resolve some matters, because you do have past alliances that wish for you too to be abundant. Keep that in mind. She's steadfast bonfire, which has been well tended and burned for hours. Her face displays authority and self-assurance. She's attractive and cat-like. She can be kind-hearted, but quick to take offense and even savage. So just be mindful of that. She has gold red hair, which flows like a lion's mane. Her right hand grasps a fire wand like that of this one here. Okay, sort of. All right, so just be mindful of that. Now, I'm looking at the 3 wands cross her and that wand. So it tells me a lot about arrangements, engagements, okay? And the plans, finalizing plans for a situation. Some plans may be finalized for a situation. All right. Now, I also saw this leopard here, which reminded me of the cheetah and the wild unknown. And it talks about the focus of the attention. The lizards here kind of talk about telepathy. And as you can see, I mean, it's a card. There's no animation, but no one seems to be in movement. Everybody's in a rested space. So I thought that was kind of interesting. As these things come up, it's almost like she's willing it and waiting and watching type deal. Because the Queen of Wands just don't sit back. She don't get scared. She don't really get nervous or, sit around waiting for it to fall out of the sky. So that means that some action has been set into place. And she's almost like in an observant, real calm, cool mood. She's stroking her little animal right there. The lizard's there waiting for her command, but ain't moved type deal. So just be mindful of that. Because one wrong move, okay, with her waiting, that's calculated. All right. And for some of you, from a destructive sort of behavior, it sounds kind of scary. Now, in the center of the reading, you got the 3 of Cups, which, like I said, with her next to it, when I shuffled the cards out and started, observing for the reading, the first thing I thought about was like gossip and slander and some bullshit. I'm not going to hold you. But I just don't like to infiltrate such negativity into the collective. Even if it's true, we want to find a solution or a favorable way to articulate it, because I just ain't into bullshit. And with Aries and Mars and all of this tension and fire and negative energy, that's fine out there. Leave that shit out there. It ain't over here in Pisces TV. So as we get to the environment, with your 3 of Cups, which I love a 3 Cups. It does talk about a celebration, but a celebration of past motherfuckers that you have cores and connections to, that may be intimidated by you, that may have been left out in the cold. I don't know about that. This is Mercury and Cancer energy with the 3 of Cups. So it could be a Cancer involved. So just be mindful of that. It does talk about abundance, plenty, success, and pleasure. So when I say abundance, plenty, success, and pleasure, it struck me to try to understand why the 5 of Pentacles was even crowning your thoughts. The 3 of Cups is understanding of Saturn in the creative world. I know how Saturn can be, wherever Saturn may fall in your chart or what it's doing in the transits. Be mindful of that, because it talks about another aspect of Saturn. And then it says Cancer, the cardinal sign of water, attributed to this card and is ruled by the moon. So here, combined with the influence of Mercury, the gift of the creative metal world flow down toward the manifested universe. So this card therefore represents the fulfillment of pleasure and fertility. The Queen of Wands is very, very fertile. And she looks pleased in this motherfucking chair. So just be mindful, because if it's against you, she's done something to hinder you and is loving it. If this is you, then you may want to embody the courage and the drive, as well as the confidence to stand up against somebody like the Hierophant. Okay? Because the Princess of Swords in the hopes and fears would probably have one of those two choices, right? Either to investigate and study and be teachable, or to rebel, because that's Aquarius energy. They do shit like that. We do shit like that because my moon is in Aquarius. So hello, Aquarius. Anyway, another aspect of the card is that of captured love with these 3 cups. The goddess Persephone is attributed here. The story goes that after Persephone ate the pomegranate, Pluto, god of the underworld, was able to capture her. So see? I don't know about that. Thus, good things in abundance should be enjoyed but not trusted. See what I'm saying? It's like a good time but not a long time type deal. That's fucked up. In the 3 of Cups, the watercolors of blue and orange are predominant. The feminine hand holds the lotus stem from which grew 3 lotus flowers. Pure white water flows from the flowers into the 3 of Cups, which in turn flood abundantly into the lower part of the card. I love that. So it talks about the capture of Persephone by Pluto, who was big brother. Y'all know that Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, all them is in the gang. And the Hierophant could represent that sort of power and gatekeep. So something that is very attractive to you that could be trying to trap you. Just be mindful of that. And we're going to get into the who, what's, and whys with the clarifiers in part 2. So hit the notification bell. If you hadn't subscribed, do so. And I definitely appreciate all of you guys for showing up, whether you don't click one motherfucking button. I'm glad that you pulled up. However, to keep the channel going, it's free. And to show your support to Pisces TV, hit the like button. All right. So let's get over to this Princess of Swords, because this could be in the hopes and fears for some. Okay, as I scroll through the hearts here, the Princess of Swords is the observer. Sometimes she also represents like this Snoopy energy, and somebody don't want to be looked into, so they may try to attack before somebody else to prevent the embarrassment. Especially like if you're gonna tell on me, I'm gonna tell on you type deal. Okay. The Princess of Swords is wisdom, strength, acuteness, subtleness in the material things, grace, and dexterity. So here goes the material things up here that could be in trouble. Now, the Princess of Swords represents earth energy as well as air, because we know that this is an air card. She is the stabilizing factor in the most erratic of elements. And when we talk about erratic, we have destruction here coming from the Prince of Swords or an elevated energy. So the princess has many of the same harsh characteristics of the queen and the prince. So sources like, we're going to talk about those harsh characteristics because that's where this is going. Despite my wanting to be more upbeat, it's some fuck shit going on and I can't hide that from you. It talks about a clever person who's skillful but aggressive, not to be trifled with, is what it said. Okay, I'm going to use that. Don't trifle with me. Okay, that's the same energy of the queen. Now, I like that energy to be empowered when you are working toward abundance and taking this material trouble to material work to get material happiness, right? Where you have to have this childlike energy to get away from whatever embedded beliefs are hindering you. I like that, but I don't like bad ideas that led to some sort of entanglement or collective effort where some people have power that are outside of you and could be hindering a situation that you're going to have to take on the chin. I didn't like that. So we're going to break that down. Anywho's, as far as her, okay, in the hopes and fears, avenging the wrath of the god is one of her functions. Her energy is like that of the tornado, striking swiftly and without warning. And some of us don't want that. Some of us really don't want that. And we've thought about this before, that we didn't want that. They don't want it with you, or you don't want it with this person. And because it's right above that Ace of Wands, which points us to a past situation that has something to do with the principle. All right. So now the Prince of Swords, right? This amplified, aggravated energy from the Princess of Swords that still sounds like a Queen of Wands, but not fully heated. Because I don't think they fucking with the Queen of Wands, but it does show the energy and the amplification of from start to bottom. Okay. The Knight of Wands symbolizes air, the material world, the element of intellect, and is therefore the perfect representation of the human mind. So for some of us, material troubles is just what's on the mind of whoever. And I think whoever has the choice, whoever has to break free, and whoever is on fuck shit, I think that particular card is stimulating all of these different energies within these situations simultaneously. That's where something that's going on above us is being acted out and played on the below, which is where we are in the 3D. So just be mindful of that. His mind simply works too fast and too hard, thus few of his plans reach manifestation. And that could be the reason for material troubles if, we've walked away from some things in that Three of Wands and, some things are coming up that never came into fruition that may have helped in these situations. So I could see that where you made plans and panned some things out looking for other things to carry them, and those things haven't really bloomed 100%, right? Because you got half of it but you ain't got all of it. Maybe somebody wants the other half of their buddy. Okay. It also could talk about roommates tripping, people who share domains, because the Hierophant always has people around him that's in the confine or whatever. And it's always a party till you go against them. And the Princess of Swords is just that one to go against. Okay. Now, the Prince of Swords also talks about a person who could go off on a number of tangents long before completing any of them. It talks about thoughts and plans, but kind of like without purpose. His mind simply works too fast. That's the part that I was jumping into. Okay. And has the sword drawn. Notice that, because in some of the tarot decks, they sit on the sword. It's beside them, or you just see it. These two both have their swords drawn and they're ready. Ready and silly as a motherfucker. So that's interesting. The Prince of Swords is also seated on a chariot. So just be mindful of that, who seem to be pulling in opposite directions. That's like Pisces, Gemini, or opposing opposites. Two people going in opposite directions, which is why it's the Five of Pentacles in the first place, because we're in the center with the mind of the Prince of Swords, and the beginning is left, the future is right, and we're in the middle. What you gonna do? This also points to blind innocence, and that's in which the manner that he could act. So just be mindful of that and how that plays out. Now, we have the 77 here, if that resonates with any of you guys, for master numbers. And we have the Sun card, so some secret, some mystery to be revealed. And for others of you, when we talk about it in part 2, the sun shining on the seeds is amazing. Because this total ruin is a blessing in disguise. Even though it's not the tower here, there was a tower in this position for your soul purpose reading. So a blessing in disguise, or something that may have been hidden from you, could be beneficial. There's a person that's hiding something from you, and I don't like them a lot. We have the Fool here with a new beginning after this completion or this closure, right? Waiting on something, using your discernment. You had the Ace of Wands, and then go from the Ace to the 3. So where was the 2? What happened with the Two of Wands? Because it's missing. From the past position, we have this grand idea, this unwell thought out plan that may have been impulsive or destructive. And then the strength that we put behind it. I don't know how this is going to work out. So like I said, we are going to do a part 2 with the clarifiers. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you. For more information on products and services, visit PiscesTV.com.